On April 14, 1847, tragedy struck at Wilmington, Delaware's Dupont powder mill. A sudden flash ignited the building, engulfing it in flames and trapping the workers inside. As they escaped, their clothes saturated with explosive dust, caught fire, adding to the devastation. The explosion killed 18 people and injured many more, with the force felt as far as 30 miles away in Philadelphia. Charles DuPont and his wife Anne lived on their estate Louviers across the Brandywine River from the powder mills. Despite their wealth and distance from the mills, they were not immune to the effects of the explosion. In a letter to her cousin, Anne described the horror of that fateful morning, the damage to their home, and the impact on the surrounding community. Yesterday morning, about 6 o'clock, we had the most awful explosion of the powder mills. I was not up. Mr. DuPont had just risen. To describe the horror of the scene would be impossible. It was a bright morning, one of those days when nature seems to be full of smiles. I was debating whether I would lose in sleep these sweet hours or get up. In an instant, without the slightest warning, there came a shock that seemed so terrific in its nature that I could only compare it to the meeting of heaven and earth. It appeared not to be local, but a crash of the world. Our window sashes, chairs, ceiling, all in the twinkling of an eye laid prostrate. The concussion, the breaking of glass and furniture, the horrid reports of the powder, the flash, and the sudden pressure of the atmosphere, with the bursting of the doors, all formed a combination of horrors that can only be surpassed by that awful day we have all yet to see. After the first instant of the explosion, I looked up and found my husband pale and bleeding. It was, however, only a scratch from a piece of broken glass. He was pale from fear of his family on the other side of the Brandywine River. He knew not who was spared, yet a kind of providence saved them, though their houses are dreadfully shattered. We have but one habitable room, and that is made so by carpets and blankets nailed to the windows, and I have written this letter at 11 o'clock in the day by candlelight. The shrieks of the wives and children so soon made widows and orphans rose in sad succession to the preceding horror. Human heads, arms, and feet were found on that peaceful-looking bank of the Brandywine where you and I have walked.